Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a replay inside of the Panther, the P44, and I've also got something that I really want to complain about. Wargaming, you always do stupid stuff, and I had to sit here and think to myself, why do you do this? Here's my controller. This is not my D-pad. I understand that start menus in games, you know, like press start to continue is kind of the go format for a lot of those, but come on. I'm trying to scroll through my garage and I don't care about modifying my garage because we don't need multiple buttons to do it, because we got down in the D-pad and then we have down in the thumbstick too. It's annoying because like you'll be scrolling through your garage and then oops a daisy, I made a mistake. So anyways, New Year's is coming up, Christmas is over. I hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas. You know, like I'm enjoying my coat that my sister got me, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna take this off. I am freaking dying as I get stuck. All right, that coat is super hot. Anyways, today inside the P44 Panther, we're rocking 6 cents, rapid loading, steady aim, born leader, silent driving, camouflage, muffled shot. I'm actually kind of surprised muffled shot's on this. Track mechanic, and then situational awareness combined with optics, loader, and advanced concealment. So it's kind of strange because I find myself looking at Italian tanks in a way that in my eyes, I feel like I get really good performing matches inside of Italian tanks compared to any other nation, it feels like. Just because they've got decent mobility. For instance, this thing is rocking like a 16.5 power to weight. You got 20 reverse, your forward speed is 60, and then you got decent concealment. So you're capable of moving around the map without really much hindering you and putting in a little bit of the work. And along with that, we also have the Progetto 46, which is a premium variant of the tank that honestly has a lot less ammunition. I'm so sorry, T56 Scorpion. I did not mean to shove you around, or maybe I did, because I love to push the little guys around. Just like how whenever I see a T249 anymore and it's driving in front of me, I don't stop. I don't care. You're playing one of the most retarded tanks in the game. You know, they nerfed the Death Star, but they're not going to nerf that. They've nerfed the Agel, but they're not going to nerf that. Or, you know, like, you're upsetting a lot of people. Thank you. Popping his tracks and forcing him to use a repair kit, putting in my third shell to see if we can retrack him. And what's lovely is the T25 right there hits his ammo rack. And he did send me a message, because I don't know if I got him killed later in the match or not. I'm not 100% sure on the T25. But here over in G1... this is a position that I enjoy, because whenever you're fighting for the hill, you always end up in a spot where you have tanks that take up the inside section of F5, and then they try to push out to hit you. And having someone being able to put pressure on these guys that they're completely safe to do so is amazing. So like the Trinity Mark II up there, while I'm down below and I'm able to put my shots out, and I'm willing to throw out a final shell, even though I've completely clipped out. Out of all of the auto-loading tanks, I find the mediums to be the best. Whenever you think of the Italians, whenever you hear me say Italians are good, don't think that the Passante C45 is good. That tank, throw it in the garbage. That thing is horrible. It needs a buff. It needs a reload rework, because you got the mobility, but you don't have any of the DPM. You got a 12-second reload, and you have other tanks with 360. For instance, Tiger 2, best example now, which has got like, what, a 7.8 second reload? So you just have this inferior tank, along with like the E75 TS, the AMBT. AMBT is not bad. You got the mobility. That's actually a mobile unit tank. Here, trying to hit the hatch again, but a lot of Trinities. This one not able to go through it because it's at a weird angle and you got a lot of spaced armor in the way. Alpine Tiger coming in down low. So far, 9 shells left, 1,869 damage dealt. Nice. There's so many 69s that pop up. I love it. I need to say nice a lot. Right here, I'm willing to take a shell from the Trinity, because if he wants to sit there, I'm just going to clip him out. Easy 3 shots. And that's another thing I love about these tanks, is that you have the versatility. You can put out a double shot, and your reload, it doesn't feel as bad as compared to most. You know, the 8.8 second reload to reload your final shell, as you're kind of being a little bit mobile, for instance, putting in the auto drive and driving up the hill here, being a little bit patient, waiting for that final shell to load in. And now, just in the time it took me to travel from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill, I'm already fully loaded again. And as I see full panic here, I'm going to throw a shell out. T25-2. He sent me a message saying thanks. I'm going to be honest, I kind of feel like that was his fault after reviewing the footage here. I don't think that was my fault. He provided me some excellent cover, though. That allows me to put in some extra work. I'm down to my last 3 standards. You know what? Based upon this match, I kind of feel like I'm going to load 9 more standards. Because whenever I play these tanks, I like the standard rounds. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean like I always enjoy the standard rounds, but 20 of them, it gets me by without much of an issue. But there's instances where it's all about the economy. And since this isn't a premium tank and it's not a tier 10 and I'm not playing it to, show off everything, I'm playing it to enjoy it, I kind of feel like loading a couple more standards would be a good idea. Want to poke this, but he's already taken down before I'm able to. Utilizing a little bit of the foliage here on the left side of the map. It's down to 66 so far. And absolute brain farts. Italian tanks are some of the only tanks in the game that at the end of the match, I'm shaking. Because they give you all the flexibility in the world. They got good gun handling. They got decent penetration. And then they got a 3-shot autoloader that is self-loading. For instance, the IS-3A over in PC, it's got a reverse autoloader, which I would love to have here on console. But for whatever reason, it's been 5 years and we still haven't seen it. So, now I'm going to complain about that. There's a lot of things I'm going to complain about because it's the only thing that we seem to know how to do anymore because the wargaming devs have no idea what they're doing. This is going into a negative video. Let's not do that. Let's avoid that. But, I mean, it's a matter of the fact. There's a lot of things that can be done. The replay system being broken and a little bit annoying. I'm going to put 1, 2, and finish off the kill there. It is 5-4. So far, I wonder if I pull up the map as I'm falling back here. Because if I do, I'm going to pause it. I'm pulling back because based upon the way the map looks, I feel like I need to reinforce that right side and provide more cover down the middle. So I'm pulling back in the same position I was prior to see if that Skoda T56 is going to pull out into the open here. And as you can see, I'm looking around the map. I'm checking the hit points of what's left. It's 4 versus 3, but our Ferdinand is now pincered. And then the heavy tank off in the distance, I don't know how much health he has left. So for me, I'm all like, I need to get to a position where I'm able to defend myself and kind of lock it down and have a little bit of control with some environmental control. And taking up a little bit of an area that allows you to utilize gun depression, you got a lot of hard cover in a couple of places. It's always a good thing to do that. For instance, here, if I'm being honest, I was thinking my side armor is either 40 millimeters or 50 millimeters. It's 50 millimeters, which means that I'm able to ricochet the 130 millimeter off the Skoda if I angle correctly. Along with that, the rear armor of the Panther P44 is also 50 millimeters, so you got decent armor all around whenever it comes down to it. The frontal armor, on the other hand, I can't remember what it was. If it's 90, it's 80 millimeters and then 60 millimeter lower plate. So it's decent armor. It's enough to ricochet. Right here. Some of you are probably going to ask why I'm not shooting at this point in time, and the reason why is because take a look at the meters. This is something that in this game they need to fix. There's a lot of visuals where we can see it, but in fact there's an invisible wall there. There's a couple of maps that do the same thing. And, like really small things that need to be fixed and tested out of the game, but matter of fact, there is no testing being done in the game because we get stuff added into the game that simply is just retarded. T249. Everyone's upset about it. We've been upset about it now for about a month. I'm going to be upset about it until they actually do something to it. Because I'm getting sick of pulling out and getting obliterated in like 2.5 seconds. Beautiful shot through the top, but unfortunately, no hit. I'm a bit more worried about the Skoda T56 coming up behind me because he can essentially just completely annihilate me in like half a second, but he's still up high. He never did a drop down, so we're going to put 1, 2, and not enough time to be able to send in that third shell, which if I was aiming up there still, I probably would have been able to get that third shell in. So now the light tank's fallen back. and I know that right there we see the damage fly at the IS. Yeah, it was at the IS-2. So for me, we're gonna put one more shell in the Skoda, and now it's time to throttle it back to our base to try and get behind that light tank and kind of have a little bit more control over the fight here. So taking up on the right side, gonna do a pull up right there. Playing the left side of mines is something that not a lot of people do, but if you got yourself a decent medium and you go down there, you can really support the middle from the far left. The right side, you kind of find yourself in a little bit of a drawn-out fight. If my whiteboard worked at the moment, I would draw on the map here, but each time I try to apply it to the replay system, it crashes OBS, and I don't know why. So I gotta find a solution to fix that. See the light tank popping up in mid, so my immediate reaction is I was telling the guy, hey, I'll defend the base, but now that he's out, you know, if I stay at the base, I'm kind of, I'm left open and exposed from 3 different directions, and if I go to the very far right of it, then I'm kind of stuck knowing that the Iron Rain is still in the game. So for me, it's like taking the high ground is going to be my best bet. So going where the light tank is currently at seems like a really good idea. I don't want to give myself away because that T41E1 is a 10-round autoloader. So if I find myself clipping out that Iron Rain prematurely, then he'll be able to rush me without much, without much consequence. And lucky for me right here, I didn't get spotted as I swapped shells at the last second into HE because I want to take down that Iron Rain as fast as I can. In all honesty, like by this point in the match, my adrenaline is going. I am struggling. The moment it hit 1v2, I was all like, I got really good hit points right now, but the Iron Rain is full health. I got to find a way to drag it down just a little bit. So utilizing the bushes, never drive all the way through them, kind of sit at the edge of them, make sure your tracks aren't fully exposed, and you'll be able to utilize the cover of the bushes fully. But if you over peak and you fully pop out, then you're going to get detected. But since I'm not seeing anything on the left side here, I'm kind of risking it a little bit more, willing to pull out. Kind of wondering where the Iron Rain's located. There he is, popping up on the right side of the map there. A little bit confused in how he got spotted, but I know that was me that spotted him. Firing behind the trees, 292. A lower roll from 320 that the HE on this tank can do. Taking my time. Losing the gun depression, so I'm going to readjust right here. In the time it took me to readjust, we're going to put one shell in, which is engine and gun. I'm going to take a hit from the light tank. Don't use your repair kit right away. If you're going to be returning fire, don't pop your repair kit right away. Because in that time that you're going to be sitting, if he tracks you again, you just wasted your repair kit, and he now has all the time in the world to kill you. Going to do a pop. I don't see the Iron Rain, so I'm going to back off. If I would have saw the Iron Rain, if he was below the hill, I would have been willing to pull it. Catch him before he came over the hill, but not spotting him just means that I need to run and get out of there. Be happy. Be happy that I'm on 617 hit points, but if they both shoot me once, it's game over. And then they're both autoloaders, so I got to be really careful about how I'm going to approach this. And there we go, getting spotted, so taking a little bit more of an aggressive position, because originally I wanted to do a drop down and come up behind. But since I got spotted on the crossing right here, that's not going to happen. But there we go, 257, high roll. Can't seem to find the second shell there. And people tend to forget that you're using an autoloader. So a lot of the times you get people that are really aggressive, and then you get people pushing in one by one. In this situation, these guys did exactly what they needed to do, which was you got one putting pressure, one keeping me kind of pinned down, kind of baiting it, but he's trying to make it across to come after me. So right here, I'm trying to bait a shell from the Iron Rain, forcing him to get aggressive against me. And then the moment I get behind, I aim up, kind of hoping that he pulls, but he doesn't pull. There we go. I'm going to throw one shell. I miss. But the Iron Rain takes that as I'm on a reload. But matter of fact, I'm also using an autoloader. 6,200. And what was that? 31? And 31 damage, 6 kills, 2,282 experience from that match. This, for me, was a match that kind of made me... I had to walk away for a minute, because it was one of those games where I kind of felt the need to walk off. The adrenaline was coursing through my veins, and as you can see, I'm taking forever to rotate through the screens here. And I didn't even have my one mark of excellence on this tank until the next match I played in it, because the next match it took me up from 64.86 to 65.5. And I was a little bit blown away by it, just because it's kind of rare to end up at a match like that takes 12 minutes and it's a really enjoyable match, and just to have a little bit of fun with it. Super happy being top tier matchmaking and pushing around. But I hope that this kind of shows off, you guys, that P44 Panther, a lot of tech tree tanks outperform a lot of premium tanks. And in all honesty, this thing is an absolute solid medium tank. Its power to weight may not bring it up to par, but it's essentially just an upgraded version of a Panther in my eyes, in the terms of way this thing performs. Tier 7 Panther brought up to Tier 8, but with the Italian tag and being able to show it off. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, afternoon, night, whatever time you're catching this, and I'll catch you in the next one. Other than that, I'm going to go continue to sit down for a minute, because this match was very recent, and I'm still in a little bit of a panic state from it.